Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
It is now 8:35 here in SVG, and we are back with more activated mornings right here on the Clean Fresh Sound with Roleza and Dianna. All right. Remember, you can be a part of our program. If you do wish to call and make a comment or ask some questions, you can do so. 457-9997. 457-9997. And that's the number that you can call. You can get us on the landline, or if you wish to use Wi-Fi or data, you can also get us on WhatsApp. All right. So you can be a part of our discussions. Oh. All right. So, hot topic, or one of our hot topics, the budget. Budget took place yesterday, and all right, what's going on? 1 minute.
All right. So yes, the budget presentation was held yesterday, and the debate will start this morning.
Mm-hmm. So some of the takeaways from the budget. P. John mentioned some this morning already. We're going to go into some more of what came out in the budget yesterday. All right.
All right. Are we reading this from Eyewitness News?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, well, of course. 1 minute. All right. So there is going to, in 2025, this year that we are in, civil servants, you are going to get a salary increase by 2.5%. Okay, let me behave myself. Right.
Yes, it's 1%. But anyhow, go ahead as you were saying, Continue. 2.5% increase in salary this year for civil servants. And that is the final part of the 7% salary increase over the 3 years that had been negotiated before, right? The government is also going to complete the port modernization project that is expected to be completed this year. They're expecting to complete no less than 1,000 homes for those affected by Beryl and La Soufrière. They're going to distribute $30 million in social assistance and income to farmers, fishers, small businesses, and vulnerable Vincentians impacted by Hurricane Beryl as well. All right. The government is also going to complete the Barley Blackfish Processing Center and advance construction on the modern arrowroot factory. They're going to build more than 70 stretches of road, including Roleza's road. More than 70 stretches of road will be completed. Of course, as well, the Arnersville Acute Care Hospital is construction is expected to advance on that one as well. The government is also planning to start some semi-professional and netball football. What am I saying? Some semi-professional netball and football leagues and launch the FAST Fund to support Olympic athletes' quest for the 2028 LA Olympics. All right. They're also going to launch a national orchestra, and they're going to launch GYVE, which is a youth volunteerism initiative to support community-based engagement. Continuing, the government is also going to launch a dedicated program to provide free transportation services to people with disabilities. They're also going to begin construction of a vendors market in Georgetown and expand those shops at Glen. They also have they said they're going to pilot a mathematics support program to provide additional instructional time for primary and secondary school students in math. All right. You think we're done? Nope, not done. Continuing. So also the government is going to begin construction of the Marriott Resort at Mount Twin, as well as construction of the Sandy Bay, Brighton, and the Thomas Saunders Secondary Schools, the Kingstown Anglican School, and the Grimble Hall of the Girls High School. They also are going to begin some cultural, educational, wellness, and production hubs in Bellevue,
Park Hill, Tromoka, and Petty Bedell. Government says that this year they will also provide 2,600 laptops to community college and secondary school students. They're going to install some lights and a warm-up track at the Sir Vincent Beach Stadium. They're also going to begin construction on the modern Parliament building in Beachmont, and also the construction of 11 clinics. They're either going to begin or they're going to complete the construction of 11 clinics across the country. They're also going to conduct targeted and sustained police operations against criminals and impose community policing in high-risk areas. Yeah, that's it. Sounds like a lot. That's a lot of information for you to take. And I don't know if you were writing down which part stuck out to you. Like for Roleza, when she heard, the budget and all of those things, what stuck out to her the most is that her road is being fixed.
Well, no, that was a question asked in Parliament last week.
Yes. So for this part, that I feel like that's her part that was stuck out most. Her road on June 1st. But what stuck out for you? For me, I looked at of course, the cultural hubs. So I was drawn to the cultural hubs. So they're going to be not just cultural hubs, but they have cultural wellness. Interesting one. Production and educational hubs in only 4 places were named. Bellevue, I don't know where Bellevue is. Park Hill, Tromoka, and Petty Bedell. Bellevue is Windward side for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't help you neither. So
leave it at that before Vincent just meet me. All right, I'll find out. But so we're gonna have the cultural hubs and the Marriott Resort at Moncton supposed to be, begin construction. Interesting. Now today they're gonna have the budget debate. I would like to listen to that. I promised myself I would, but we'll see how it goes when I get off and deal with other things. But Roleza, tell me.
All right. So as I said, as I indicated earlier, I did listen to the presentation, and there were certain things that stayed with me. I suppose coming out of this article that we read from Eyewitness News, and again when I listened, or the times when I was trying to tune in or pay particular attention. Again, I am not seeing enough coming out, and this is me trying to be a little bit fair, because I think I retain information a lot better when I read. So I need to see when the presentation is actually uploaded. I think it's uploaded to Ministry of Finance website. I remember in the past, I read it from there. So I would be able to go through with a greater fine-tooth comb. And what it is I'm particularly looking forward to see is opportunities for growth and financial development for persons here in SVG or for industries here in SVG. I know that some mention was made of it in terms of working harder with or continuing to work along with Invest SVG in terms of getting persons to invest here, et cetera. But again, I'm not seeing it in black and white. So this is probably why it hasn't stayed in my memory or just logged in there. But I would have to go and get that information. All right. Some of the things that I was pleased to see is the vendors market in Glen and the vendors market in Georgetown and the expansion of shops in Glen. Now, this particular initiative is something that I would love to see happening in many more communities. One of the things that we tend to find is that there are persons who have small businesses who would like to move from either operating as a home-based business, or they would like to be able to set up as a initial startup within their communities. And I know that many times small businesses face the challenge of finding places where it is that they can operate from. So we have the shops there at Glen, but to my knowledge, and the market there in Georgetown, but to my knowledge, I am not aware of any other places set up within different communities or different constituencies that would help to promote entrepreneurship within these communities. Now, remember, we're always talking about moving away business from Kingstown in terms of diversifying where businesses can be found. And if we're trying to expand that whole entrepreneurial spirit, or even persons just trying to help themselves, we need to move away from persons trying to flock into Kingstown as the central business district for them to be able to patronize businesses and patronize services. So having the establishment of different shops or different locations within communities would be an asset. I do note that there's also the continuation of programs such as Prime. Now, yes, I know that Prime has come under some comments and some scrutiny from some individuals. I myself have benefited from Prime, and the thing of it is that if you are a focused individual, when it comes to your business, you can make this program work for you.
Yes.
All right, so don't mind the thoughts that other persons may have with regards to it. If you put your mind to excelling, you can. All right, so we have somebody on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Morning.
Nice hearing your voice there and so on. And please don't let smoke get into your eyes and into your throat, because you would lose the sweetness, as I see it. You lose the sweetness of of your voice and all of that, which I love to hear so much. Yeah, so you and Dianna back as two partners in crime, so to speak. Talking about budget, maybe this is the first time, and maybe because I consider all what is happening to be an election budget. It's the first time I didn't pay particular attention to what has been said. I guess I will hear snippets of it from the different news people, stations, whatever they have to offer. But then, I have been around so long. I've been listening. I mean, there was that time of my life when I followed all the developments, and I have lived. I can say I have lived long enough to see sometime. What I say, promise is a comfort to a fool. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
So this should not. We are not fools, right? And that's why I'm putting things into perspective here, because I love when I speak. I can attract others to hear what they have to offer. Like I've been looking at, and this has not now started. That I have come to realize in our small society where people are not that up to date, enlightened, maybe educated enough to follow important issues on a national level. Anytime somebody puts his or her neck out on the block, look out. You may lose your head, because you attract attention, and this is good, but you get some of the responses you get, then you realize it's not really worth it, or people still lagging. We're still lagging behind. It's good to hear about all the promises, yes, but I am sure, if you haven't realized this by now, that when you examine or re-examine some of the things that have been promised for years, you could say donkey years, they never materialize, or when they come, it's for some kind of political reason. But be that as it may, I am of intention. I want to see my country move forward, but a lot of the time it's just rhetoric, political rhetoric, and no action, so to speak. And so I will just be listening to you guys. You guys now are when I hear Roleza speaking there just now, I'm saying to myself, but she should have been hung up by the Prime Minister as well, to be on his advisory council. That sort of thing. Because now giving you special, I don't know how they go about choosing,
I'm no longer youth, Dave. If you need an idea of my age, I'm no longer youth. I might look the part, but I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, and you have such a youthful voice. So then, you see, that's how man just get trapped, get into situations.
But I will present my ID all the time, okay, Dave? I will always present my ID.
Lovely. So that's just my sharing on what you all are talking about. I've been listening. Thank you.
All right, cool. Thanks, Dave. All right. All right. So just for the other things that I noted as well. So there was a mention of the buses, and I know that they're getting the buses. Well, Camilla, Honorable Camilo Gonzalez, let me put the honorable in front, mentioned that the buses are coming out of Japan. And they've given acronyms to everything, right? So this one is actually called MOVE. So what it is, I was actually happy to hear this one because I know that there is often a comment or complaint from either senior citizens or persons with disabilities who complain about having to use our public transportation system. Now, I'm sure that, in the Kenson's article, it mentioned that it was free, but I'm sure that if they have to pay, that they wouldn't mind paying, knowing that there is the vehicles, and I think that it also has they're supposed to have like wheelchair access or something to that effect, right? To make persons getting around make it easier for persons to get around. So I was quite happy to hear that. I was also happy to hear of the youth community service projects, because one of the things I think that as a nation we are straying away from is that whole sense of community. And I don't know how many young persons understand the power, as in the impact that's being involved in service community organizations, how much it can have on not only for your internal or your intrinsic development, but in terms of it's helping to progress our nation, in terms of your involvement, helping to progress our nation. Many times we think of persons as being so individualistic. Persons are just all for themselves within their communities, even within their own families, right? So to get young people involved in community service type projects, and he didn't go into full details about it, but I would be happy to hear the details of that in terms of getting young people involved in community-minded projects. So we have somebody on the line. Anita, good morning.
Good morning, Roleza. How are you?
I am fine, and you?
Morning.
Don't blow it. You're already fine. Dianna, I heard you had fun. Oh my goodness. I'm glad that you enjoy where you went. I was wondering, but Roleza whole back, she said, well, when Dianna come back, she would say where she is.
Yeah, it's in my business to tell.
Well, at least that was good, because then, it would have been still news. But, we are all excited now hearing it from the horse's mouth. Yeah. Now, Roleza, talking about the transport from the budget, I spoke with someone, I'm not going to call name, about 3 months or so ago. And I told him that is one of the things that I would love to see in St. Vincent. And I'm so happy to hear that, because that's how I travel out here. And it is good. It's wheelchair accessible. It's, sometimes the buses are like that, and they have the taxi like that. A ramp comes down the side, and you just walk on. You can go in your wheelchair. You can go in with your walker. I mean, you can sit and ride to America. So I'm telling you, cheers to my government. I am so happy. We need that. And I said it. And the person can call if he wants to, but I wouldn't say who I spoke to 3 months ago. That is one of the things I would love to see in St. Vincent. I even said if I win the lotto, because they're like $80,000, $90,000 for each one. And I said if I were to win the lottery, I would just buy 2 and send them home in St. Vincent to make back my money. Yes, okay. But that's a good thing. That is one that stood out for me, because I know the service out here. For that, I have a bus pass that I would use, and it valid up to 2030 if God spare my life. So I travel for free. They pick you up and take you anywhere where you want to go. So, and I heard the Minister of Finance say that they will take you shopping. They will take, and that's what they do. But you have to have an escort with you.
Okay.
Yes.
Makes sense.
And the escort travel for free also.
Okay.
Yes.
Makes sense.
They will drop you where you want. You give them the time. They come back and they pick you up. And so it's a good gesture. That one stood out for me. We need that. Okay, ladies.
All
have
right.
a good one. Take care. God bless.
You too, Anita. Bye. All right. All right. And okay. And the other thing that stood out, it wasn't mentioned in that article. Okay, so we have another caller before I get my last one. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back, Dianna.
Thank you. Thank you, Joshua.
I thought you were going to introduce yourself as Mrs. Dianna.
Oh,
something.
wow. You thought I eloped?
You're not the easiest
Well,
with
anything
this
is
thing to do,
possible
yes?
because Roleza was so secretive. Like I ain't going to tell you why she ain't here. When she comes, she will tell you herself.
Mm.
Anyway, welcome back. We really I miss your laughter.
Oh.
Anita, unfortunately, St. Vincent would not be able to accommodate transportation for the disabled because you mentioned the ramps and so on. There isn't the space. So it sounds like a good idea, but it is not going to work simply because when a bus stops to pick up a disabled person, unless you're going to pick them up at like at a park or someplace where the ramp could be extended, that is not going to work. But I like the idea of free transportation because here in Bermuda, seniors like myself and students ride all transportation for free.
All right.
There's no
Okay, to that point in terms of the ramp not be there already, as far as I know, there already exists a bus like that here in SVG already. That's in a private sector capacity. So I'm not quite sure why you're thinking that it's not going to work. Unless I'm envisioning something different.
I'm not thinking, I'm saying because you need space. For example, when the bus pulls up, some of them have the ramp extending from the rear and some from the side. There's no space. I'm talking about space-wise. It is not. It's
space
not
from where to where, Josh? Where from where to where?
Okay, for example, if you stop at a bus stop and there's a disabled person there, there has to be space for the ramp to be extended from the bus onto the road.
Okay. All right. I probably have I probably have to Google to see, but I know that already there exists such a bus here in SVG and because of the fact that the business is still operating, I do.
In Bermuda, where some of the buses have these ramps, but they cannot be used because there's no space. We have to be realistic here. Anyway, it's good. I'm not going to be knocking anybody else or anything. I am deeply saddened anyway to hear that there's a demand for another radio station. There was one, I think it was called Cross Country or Crossroads.
Cross Country.
It's just sad to see another one go. And those of you who survive should not be dancing on the ceiling because what you need to do is to look at why these radio stations fail, and if there are things that you could improve on that. Because living 2,000 miles away from St. Vincent, I look forward to hearing everybody that comes on, and it would be really, really sad if another one hits the dust. I don't know if I'm making any sense here.
Mm-hmm. All
right? We learn from the mistakes of others. And Dianna, welcome back.
Thank you.
I wish you were here, and I would like Roleza to play that qualification for a politician at some point.
It will play, of course, before. Yes. I played it a couple times before the call of the next elections. All right.
Yes.
All right.
I would like to hear Dianna's take on it.
No. Okay. All right. Cool, Joshua. Thanks.
Have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Yep. All right. So Anita. Hi, Anita.
Yes. Good morning, Joshua. How are you? Yeah. Hey, Roleza. Good morning, Joshua. Alexa, volume down. I am sorry. My apologies. No, Joshua, how it works here, there are different sizes, there are different types. And you don't just call. So when you go to apply for the wheel transit, what I'm talking about, you have to say where you live, Roleza. And they come and they check. Now, I live in an apartment building and the parking lot is open. Now, if you live in a house, they send the right transportation for you. A bus will come for me. The taxi will come because I live in an open space. But once you live in a house and you are being picked up from there. When you call, you have to say where you are being picked up from and where you are going, so they will supply you with the different transport. And I don't think the government will be getting one size transport, because they will know that people live different places. And once they do it right, it will work. The ramps, some of them are shorter, some of them are smaller. So if you go in on your wheelchair, you have to say, I'm going with my wheelchair, so they will send the right one. You're going with your walker, where you can just step up, they send the right one. You understand? So, I mean, I'm saying that's how they do it out here, and I'm pretty sure that the government will have to know that everybody doesn't live in the same space, so they're not going to have one type coming. Okay? All
All
right.
right.
Take care.
Thanks, Anita.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so my final point, this wasn't in the article, but I remember hearing it coming down to the latter part of the presentation. And if I quoted correctly, there are supposed to be at least 2 juvenile facilities, I think one in the U and one on the Windward side. And the reason why this stood out for me is that I remember the discussion that Doc and I had in terms of, and I think Dianna, at one point you were here as well, about having a separate facility for those young persons who have found themselves committing, let's say, either serious offenses or who have serious tendencies towards criminal activities, and not having them mix with students at the Liberty Lodge, for example, all right? Because we know that students, persons or children who are at Liberty Lodge, they are there for different reasons. Some of them are there because of parental neglect, but there are those who are there for serious reasons, and not having the 2 sets or the different types mixed at one facility is something that I think is of importance. And having these different juvenile facilities would help to give more of an individualized, targeted type of treatment or rehabilitation that these young children would need. All right. So those were just the key things that I took away from the budget presentation. There may be a lot more, but I think I would just leave it there for today.
Okay. I was just about to comment on that, but then the one where the GYVE, I have to go and see what that stands for. I'm interested in
That is
seeing
the Youth Community Service Project.
Yeah, I want to know what I know. I just want to know what the letters stand for. Yeah,
it is.
So I'm interested in seeing how this one goes, because it's saying that they're going to launch a volunteerism initiative. But in my mind, I'm thinking we have a lot of volunteer groups already. Wouldn't it have been easier to work along with some of these groups instead of forming a new group? So, but I'm going to look out for that and see how that one goes, because sometimes I think that we don't always have to start fresh with everything. There are some things that we have already that we can build on. So I'm interested to see that one, as well as the facilities for the youth, because it would make no sense if we build new facilities and have new places, though they are needed, but we have the same persons operating them, because one of the issues with facilities like that are the people running them. And
you mean training, the lack of
not necessarily the training, but the people themselves, because we have
the mentality of the people. You mean
mentality. I mean,
Okay.
Vincentian mentality needs a whole change altogether, because when you really learn certain things and you look into things, you realize that a lot of the things that you would blame higher officials for is we, the people at the bottom, are creating the issues, and we're the ones who basically are against each other in some areas. So for the youth facilities, I would hope that when we get them, we're not going to see the same kind of problems that we're having at the ones that already exist. And I'm going to leave it right there for now. And
so
then
you mean like people dedicated to actually wanting to see the rehabilitation of the boys?
Correct.
Okay.
And not just leave things. But for those who know about Liberty Lodge, the state of it now, you know about the state of it now. So I'm hoping that we get a new facility. We're not going to face those same challenges, that we could work on the issues. Because sometimes we just get a new building, but sometimes you need new people too. Okay. And I'm going to leave it right there. And that's it. So it's 9:04. It's now time for us to bring to your ECCB currency exchange rate. So with that, we are going to head out of our talk segment here for today. Remember, the